When I was a child, I looked at the concept of adulthood with a misty-eyed fervor. Now don't get it twisted. I was in no mood to rush things, and I was ready to take as much time as I needed to get there. But I was so excited to see the person I would one day become. The possibilities seemed endless. Could have been a movie star. Line! Thank you. Taking the world by storm on the silver screen and winning hearts with my charm, wit, and humor.
Miss Olivia, can I have your autograph?
Oh my gosh, of course, yes! Also be an artiste. The medium wouldn't matter. Sketching, painting, sculpting, whatever. As long as I could get my Bob Ross on and express myself and my creativity. Maybe I could even help others feel something with these hands too. Which reminds me. Yeah, baby! That's me! I would even become a pro wrestler. Hitting the road for the love of the square circle and fighting anybody who would get in my way. To be a child again. Everything just made sense. Just fit. It was a simpler time then. But now, adulthood just seems so serious and a bit scary, if you ask me. There are many problems that come with it. Stress, bills, bones popping out in areas that they shouldn't, and if the circumstance is right, relationships, to name a few. But there is one that stands above the rest in its horror, and that is work. The outward expression of the soul that's changed, taking our lives from forces that make the world better to meaningless nightmares that so few find fulfillment in.
When I look at finding careers or the workplace as a whole, I'm saddened by what I see and wonder if it's even worth the effort. And I'm not the only one who feels this way. In a conference board study cited by Charles Duhigg in the New York Times, since the 1980s, job satisfaction rates have gotten lower and lower, reaching its worst during 2010 at 43%. The things we love are drowned out by things to hate, and I can think of a few reasons why. For one, the idea of the can't stop, won't stop, and the rise and grind attitude is in, and we've forgotten healthy boundaries between work and wellness. I think Nietzsche says it best here. Everyone seems to be living in a constant chase after gain, which compels people to expend their spirit to the point of exhaustion. We forsake our needs out of fear, blind loyalty, or desires to move up the corporate ladder. And by playing the role of perpetual workhorses who live, sleep, eat, cheat, and perhaps even die for the good of the company, rest seems a lifetime away. We are overworked, though it adds nothing to our productivity nor our creativity. And with the rise of hustle culture, it is amazing what people will do for even the possibility of success. Something that's not guaranteed. But how else are you to keep yourself sane when the next best option is just boredom? As David Graeber points out in his phenomenal essay on BS jobs, society has made leaps and bounds in tech, rendering the jobs of many service workers obsolete. But the number of white-collar jobs have tripled, employees working 40 to 50 hours a week, with less than half of that being devoted to their actual job description. With less people doing the menial labor that keeps society from falling apart, we're left with nothing but side quests, time killing, and gopher jobs that we aren't really passionate about. As a result, Graeber suggests that in return for not bucking against the humdrum of the 9 to 5, those with power continue to exploit and control the masses with their free time restrictions, creating divisive competition and resentment in the process. What's worse is that this exploitation can trickle into our innermost desires, leaving us dissatisfied with the dreams we once held so dear. The starving artist analogy isn't used to steer bright-eyed and bushy-tailed youngins towards smart career options for no reason. Callings such as these aren't seen as viable options because society deemed them less valuable, especially since the powers that be don't find them useful for making a quick check. Unless you're Disney, of course. But there's always exceptions to the rule. But even if I did manage to get into a dream job, the woes of the workplace could make me disenchanted with what I do. With pressures from output, buyers and sellers, meetings, goals and deadlines, and doing tasks that make my work seem like something it shouldn't, I could feel used up, to the point where my labor of love now feels like a chore. And don't even get me started on money. It seems like we can't do anything but get a headache without it. Even though having money isn't what it's cracked up to be, and you can still feel meaningless with it, it is the abuse of that mean green that keeps us in a cycle of need, that continuously turns that hamster wheel that gives the corporations riches and keeps us moving out of survival. Indeed, all these struggles are things which makes us leave our kids. It is the psychological violence that makes us take abuse, the bumps and bruises from inhabitable work conditions, the lowest amount of pay possible from jobs that will fire you, no matter if you have a doctor's appointment or a family emergency. The office spectacle of adulthood does not care about your feelings. It doesn't care about you. Rather, it leaves you and your passions overworked and undervalued under the cruelty of the cubicle.
It didn't have to be this way. But it is what it is, I guess. I'm a college student now. And when it comes to developing a career path so that I can get ready for the real world, to be honest with you, I'm at a loss for words. I've used my resources. I've talked to my classmates and teachers. I've even went to the classes that were career development oriented. I even have a whole notebook I made for myself to track my tips and my progress. But even then, I still feel scared. And I don't want to feel aimless at a job I don't love. But when I see the weariness on the faces of my mom and dad, when I see the subdued pain they go through whenever that unexpected bill or payment pops up, I'm reminded that I don't want to struggle either. Believe me, I haven't given up hope, and I don't plan on it. But sometimes it just feels like the game is rigged and I don't know what to do and it seems pointless. So what are my options?